use your God power to get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. The step-by-step explanation of an act of kindness. In this next video example, Wayne Dyer talks about a study that was done that measured the physical body results from an act of kindness. Video example, an act of kindness. What is this video about? In this video example, Wayne Dyer tells us why we should be kind to one another. He has the results from an amazing study that shows that the serotonin levels of people are raised as a direct result of an act of kindness. The serotonin is the feel-good chemicals in the brain.
For best results, pause this video at this point here, and watch the video example mentioned in the segment. The links are located in the book chapter, and at the end of the book. If you are watching this online, you will find the link for this video example listed in the notes section. Then, after watching the associated video example, continue watching this video from here.
The study revealed that people who were the recipients of an act of kindness had a significant raise in their serotonin levels. That is pretty much expected. The people who extended and provided the act of kindness, however, also had a raise in their serotonin levels equal to the recipients. Finally, and most interestingly, the people who were not the recipients nor the providers of the act of kindness, but were instead just witnesses of the event, also had a significant raise in their serotonin levels as well. What does this video example show, and what does it mean? This video example is important to our studies because it proves that what you witness, you incorporate into your being and your vibration. While these results were amazing for the researchers, we know from our study that they make perfect sense. First, let's take a look at this situation from the viewpoint of the receiver of this act of kindness. They, of course, could not have received this kind act unless they were first vibrating with similar thoughts. This is like our challenge example in Chapter 2, The Meaning of Life, Your Life, where you were going to try to give $1 million to someone who would be the least likely to receive it. Later, it was clear that only the ones who had it coming to them would have received it because the rest would have been invisible and you would never have been able to give it to them. So, from this we know that the receiver elicited this kind act from their world. Second, the giver or provider of this kind act also was vibrating with these same good feeling, kind thoughts. Otherwise, they would not have been able to notice and resonate with the vibration from the first person, the recipient. The vibrations would have passed on by, unnoticed, and unresponded to. However, since each of them were in resonance with each other on the same good feeling frequency, it is natural that they would each also be eliciting from their world very beneficial results. Remember, that when you vibrate with things that make you feel good as the giver or the receiver, you also resonate with beneficial chemicals in your own body that bolster your immune system and make you feel good. The technical way that the body feels good is by releasing serotonin. This brings us to our third person and the most interesting in the group. Remember in this section, just before this one, that by observing an event, good or bad, you activate that vibration within yourself. As you activate that specific vibration, it is now vibrating and eliciting the same things to you. From your own body, not only do you elicit the feel-good chemical serotonin, but you also elicit a stronger immune system, and you elicit kind acts unto yourself. It can not only elicit a kind act from a stranger to you, but it can also elicit a kind act from you to a stranger. This wonderful video example from Wayne Dyer with these great research studies not only shows how your vibrational activation system works, but it proves it. Okay, let's have a look at this illustration. Now, we've got a guy with the green tuning fork, which means that tells me that he's having positive thoughts. That's what he's thinking. He's thinking on the positive side. Now, as he looks out into his world, there's a few things out there. There's some green tuning forks, which would indicate positive situations or positive aspects of situations or a positive viewpoint of a situation or a positive meaning of a situation. And there's red tuning forks, which would indicate either negative things, negative aspects of things, or negative meanings of things. And obviously, if he's got the green tuning fork and thinking positively, he's going to be resonating with the green positive things, the positive aspects, the positive meanings. And so sure enough, out of the 4 tuning forks, the 2 that are green are resonating like crazy. They're vibrating. They're responding. And the ones that are red, of course, are quiet. They're dormant. They're not being activated. They don't even know that he's there, and he doesn't even know that they're there. He's aware of the 2 green ones, and the 2 green ones are aware of him. Okay, let's see what this says here. First, we have the recipient who had to be feeling good and eliciting good things from his world and himself. Then, we have the person who provided the kind act, who was vibrating on that same type frequency. Otherwise, he would have never seen the first person, much less done a kind deed for him. Okay, so now we're getting a look at the second person, the one who provided the kind act. So the first illustration is the one who received the kind act. Now, he's thinking positive thoughts. He has positive expectations. He's thinking that things are working out for him. He lives in a great world because that's what he thinks the world is. Now, this other guy, we see here on his illustration, he also has a green tuning fork in his mind, which tells us that he's also thinking positively at this time. And so, if he's thinking positively and along these type of nice, kind thing type of ideas and thoughts and vibrations, then he could very well, very easily become in resonance with this other guy who's thinking the same kind of thing. So here we've met 2 people, and they're each on the same page, so to speak. They're each thinking positive thoughts right now. So let's see what happens. Okay, they meet. Okay, now we see in the next illustration that sure enough, they meet. They're face to face here. Here it says, these 2 become aware of each other because they were resonating with each other at a level beyond their awareness. The recipient just thinks that this kind act just came out of the blue. And at the same time, the provider thinks that it was his idea and that he did it for no particular reason. Unbeknownst to him, his kind act was elicited from him, through him, by the power of resonance. Of course, It was not elicited from him specifically. It was just that it came through him because he was vibrating on the same type of frequency and they were on the same page, as it were. Okay, so now we get to the next illustration. By the way, let's talk about the first one. They're meeting each other. One guy is receiving the kind act. The other guy is providing the kind act. They're both on the same page, so to speak. They're both resonating with each other. Now, this is important. I know I've mentioned this before in a prior example, but you cannot elicit something from somebody that's not there to start with. If you're playing the number 3 string on your guitar, and you've got another guitar that doesn't even have the number 3 string, it cannot respond. You cannot elicit that kind of a response from that guitar. You might be able to elicit a number 6 string, you might be able to elicit a number 1 string, but you can't elicit a number 3 string. It has to be there in the first place. So when this guy is eliciting this kind act from this other person, he's not causing that other person to do something that he wouldn't otherwise do. He's eliciting something from that person that person is already about. The kind of thing that person already likes to do. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to elicit it from him. You cannot elicit something, an act, or whatever, from someone who doesn't have it in them. Now, you can elicit it from the universe. And if this person, if it's not within him to provide that kind act, then he's not going to be involved in this. It's going to be somebody else that it's going to come through. But in this example, it came through this guy because this guy was about that. He had that string. He had that vibration. He enjoyed helping people. Kind of like when I was stopping and helping people along the side of the road when they were broken down. They elicited that through me. It was when they elicited my help, where I pulled over, stopped, got out of my car, helped these people, okay? They didn't cause me to do something that I wouldn't normally do. They couldn't elicit that from me if I wasn't already into it, if I didn't already like doing it. There was plenty of people that passed by that had no interest in stopping and helping anybody. And you know what? They didn't stop and they didn't help. It wasn't elicited from them, nor could it be. But it can always be elicited from the universe. And how it comes about, who it comes through, and the way that it happens is always going to be, it's always going to be in a way that matches everybody's meaning. So the person who stops and helps you on the side of the road is going to be the person who likes doing that. So when you meet somebody and you're eliciting them because you've been given a great thought to the person you'd like to meet, when you meet them, they can't come into your experience unless they like somebody like you too. It's just the way it works. Okay. Now let's get to the really interesting part here. Here's the guy who is the witness of the situation. Now, he's observing these other two people over there, and one guy's doing a kind act for the other. Now, he's not the provider, nor is he the receiver. He's just seeing it from a distance. Let's see what it says here. Of course, a person seeing this kind act will automatically create the same vibration within himself. Seeing this kind act is no different than seeing something that you like, or remembering a great vacation, or any other good thing that you witness in your experience or in your thoughts. It is because of this fact that it is important that you only pay attention to the things that you like and want, because anything that you pay attention to will be elicited in your direction. After all, doesn't it make sense to only think about and observe the things that you like? Why would you look at anything and pay attention to something that you didn't like? Okay, so this is the thing. The guy that's observing this act going on, we see that he's also got a green tuning fork. Okay? So what that means is this. He couldn't be aware that this kind act was going on if it wasn't resonating with him. He would have passed on by and not even noticed it. So the only way that he can notice this kind act, if that kind of a vibration or that kind of a thought or that kind of a thing was already within him. He had to have a similar thought process, had to have a similar thinking in order to have noticed it. Now, if he noticed it, the only way you can notice something is if you're resonating with it. The only way you can be resonating with it is if you already have that kind of vibration within you. So you see, he already had that kind of a vibration. Now he's seeing this thing going on, and as he's seeing it, what happens? When he's in resonance, it's a mutual activation of the same vibration. So as he's seeing this nice thing going on, it's vibrating the nice vibrations within him, and when he's getting that kind of activation, it's making him feel good. He's getting serotonin released. He's enjoying this wonderful thing that he's observing. Isn't that interesting how that works? Now this is the thing. Somebody else with a negative vibration, remember, all situations are neutral. So the guy doing the kind act, while this witness, this outsider, we see that he's got a positive vibration. And we see that he sees it as a good thing. It's because of his positive vibration that he sees it as a good thing, that he recognizes the kind act, that he's responding to it as if it is a kind act. Now, you could have somebody else who has a negative vibration going on, and they could become aware of this very same situation. Remembering, all situations are neutral. So this guy is doing this kind deed for this other guy. Let's say he's giving him some money. Maybe the guy's on the street and he's asking for money or whatever, and this guy stops, reaches in his pocket, pulls out a 50, pulls out 100, hands it to this guy. Let's say that that's the kind act. Now this other guy who's got a negative orientation, who's thinking negatively from that side of the perspective, he could be looking at this and thinking the guy's getting hustled. The guy's getting ripped off. The guy's losing money. It's not a kind act at all. The guy's being taken advantage of. It's a bad situation. The same exact event can be seen from as many different viewpoints as there are observers with meanings. So for everybody that looks at that same exact situation, they will have elicited a different result, a different thought, based on the meaning that they give the situation. And the meaning that they give the situation is dependent on how they're thinking. If they're thinking positively, they look at that and they say, what a wonderful thing that guy's doing. If they're thinking negatively, they're thinking the guy's being taken. He's being used. He's being taken advantage of. What a fool. Because when you're in a negative state of mind, you see the negative in everything. You're always asserting negative meanings onto situations. Other people are looking at the same situations and asserting positive meanings. Now, if you find yourself asserting negative meanings to situations, you can believe that you're in a negative state of mind right now, if that's happening. And when you're in a negative state of mind, you know what's happening. You're resonating with all the negative things, all the things you don't want. You're resonating with things happening in your body that you don't want to happen. You're remembering past events in a negative way. You're thinking about the future in a negative way. So if you recognize that for the moment you are giving negative meanings to things, then that's your clue right away that you're in a negative state. And of course, your other clue and your major clue and your main clue is how you feel about it. If you're not feeling happy, okay? So what you do is you turn around and you say, hey, hold it. You know what? That's a nice thing that guy's doing. That's, you know what? That guy, that's really something that guy's taking $100 out of his pocket and giving it to that guy. That's really something. What a great thing for that guy to do. And by you changing the meaning of a particular situation, suddenly, now that you're observing a positive situation, guess what happens? It resonates back with you and starts eliciting positive vibrations out of you. And now, just by changing the meaning of something you were observing, you're now resonating on a more positive level, and you've actually changed your own state of being. Now you're walking down the sidewalk whistling and thinking, wow, that's really something. There really are great people in this world. And now you start noticing good things. Now when you're thinking about your past, it looks good. Now you're thinking about your future, it looks good. And now great ideas are coming to mind. So you used the situation, you used your God power to change the meaning of something you were observing in order to change your own thinking. So either A, you can change your thinking, and then you see things differently, or you can change how you see things, and it changes your thinking. It's a resonant effect. Okay.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, chapter number 11, segment number 36. Let your quest for knowing continue. Options. Click on the tan arrow to go to the main course menu and guide, with links to all course chapters, excerpts, and special reports. Or, click on the blue arrow to start watching the video, How to Use Your God Power. Or, click on the green arrow to start watching the video, The Meaning of Meaning. Up next, special video options. And, hear how to download the course e-books, MP3 audios, videos, and the slideshows. Right now, for free. Now switching to the special video options menu. One moment please. Options menu. Click on your selection number, or wait for the free download information, coming up next. "15 seconds till we switch to the next page with the free download information. Pause the video now, if you need more time to review the available selections." Now switching to the free download information. One moment please. Download all of chapter number 1, for free. What is your God power and how to use it? Available download formats include the Adobe PDF, ebook, with the transcript and closed caption files as well, MP3 audiobook, Windows Media Video, slideshows, Flash Movie, and iPod, MP4. To get these free downloads, go to the link listed below. Special Excerpts, Secrets of Life and Death. What is incarnation? Download this special report, for free. Available download formats include the Adobe PDF, ebook, MP3 audiobook, Windows Media Video, slideshows, Flash Movie, and iPod, MP4. To get these free downloads, go to the link listed below. The 3 biggest lies of all time, and why believing them could kill you. Download this special report for free. Available download formats include the Adobe PDF, ebook, MP3 audiobook, Windows Media Video, slideshows, Flash Movie, and iPod MP4. To get these free downloads, go to the link listed below. Chapter 5, Special Excerpts Number 1. Attracting What You Want. Understanding attraction, including special techniques. Download this special report for free. Available download formats include the Adobe PDF, ebook, MP3 audiobook, Windows Media Video, slideshows, Flash Movie, and iPod MP4. To get these free downloads, go to the link listed below. How to Use Your God Power. The Master's Course. By Richard Lee McKim Jr. The entire course is available at Amazon.com. In DVD-ROM format. 40 CD audiobook. And an 18 DVD set. Delivery by postal service, and by immediate download as well. Go to Amazon.com, or use the direct link below, to get all the How to Use Your God Power course materials and products. Let your quest for knowing continue.